see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core. Oh, I've become so numb without a soul. My spirit sleeping somewhere cold until you find it there and lead it back home. Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bid my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I've become. Now that I know what I'm without, you can't just leave me. Breathe into me, make me real. Bring me tonight. Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark.
We hope that we are watched not only in Georgia but also in the embassies. Here in the building there is the president of Ahmadi, Lewis Robertson, who has been captured by the police forces. Also, there is search on the third floor and all employees on the ground floor lying with their faces down. I don't know what is going on outside. I don't know what is going on in the control room. Is anybody hearing me? We are in a very difficult situation. We are not warned that police will come into the building. By closing the channel, the government is violating the Constitution. This means that this is a dictatorship regime. I address to all organizations and embassies to protect the citizens. Here they are coming into the studio. I want to say thank you. I hear shouts in the control room. I hope our employees won't be injured. Here are our guests.
Georgian troops now launching an offensive of their own as Russian troops move into the South Ossetia, a breakaway region populated by Russian citizens. About 100 Russian tanks, perhaps as many as 150 heading through that area now, saying that, well, back in Russia, in Georgia rather, they're saying that Russia has declared war against us. The president of Georgia saying that the U.S., for its sake, cannot ignore this crisis. Fox News producer Anya Ardaya now on the phone by way of Moscow. Anya, I heard you reporting about an hour ago that the U.S. military is actually training with Georgian forces at a military base outside the capital, and apparently they departed only 2 or 3 days ago. Is that a fact?
That has not been 100% confirmed, but what we're hearing, yes, that a senior Georgian security official has said that Russian jets have dropped 2 bombs at the Baziani military base 15 miles from the Georgian capital, Tbilisi. And that's right, that's where the Georgian and the American servicemen have been training jointly since mid-July, and the Americans have left that base apparently just a few days ago. He also said that no one was wounded or killed in that attack. But he claimed that some buildings have been destroyed and said, as you mentioned, that Russia has declared war against Georgia. However, Moscow has not confirmed the attack, but earlier Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said that Russian volunteers are pouring over the border to defend Georgia's separatist region of South Ossetia from Georgian forces. It's important to mention that up to 90% of South Ossetia's 70,000 people are Russian citizens. And also there are reports that up to 150 Russian tanks and armored vehicles are moving towards the capital of South Ossetia, which has been under heavy bombardment from Georgian forces overnight.
Anya Ardaiva, our Fox producer on scene in Moscow, back with her throughout the morning as this story continues to develop.
The Secretary General is seriously concerned about what is happening in the Georgian region of South Ossetia, and he has said that the alliance is very closely following the situation, so we are trying to monitor what is happening there. The Secretary General has also called this morning on all sides for an immediate end of the armed clashes, and has called the sides to have to engage into direct talks between the parties. That's all I can tell you from Brussels right now.
Georgia has been involved in NATO for years. It's a member of the North Atlantic Cooperation Council. It's a member of the Partnership for Peace program. What does that membership count for right now? How much can it expect from NATO?
Well, we are trying to help Georgia as much as possible. As you say, Georgia is engaged now in the direct, in what we call the intensified dialogue process. So we are cooperating as much as possible. And but as you know, NATO has never had a direct role in the conflicts that are in the Caucasus, that take place in the Caucasus, and NATO doesn't seek to have a direct role in the area right now.
So to put it very simply, if the people of Georgia are looking to NATO for help, there's a limit to what you're offering.
Well, we are in, the Secretary General of NATO is in permanent contact with the President of Georgia. He has spoken to him twice in the last hours. We are trying to follow the situation. We have called all parties to show restraint as much as possible, to refrain from the use of violence. So I think that with all the diplomatic contacts that the NATO Secretary General is having and NATO is having, we can try to contribute to finding a solution.
Is there any contact now between NATO and its Secretary General with Russian President Medvedev or Prime Minister Putin?
Well, not at that level, but NATO is in contact also with the Russian side. That's all I can tell you from Brussels.
Fire, flood, war, famine, plague, anarchy, the end of the world. These are the apocalyptic visions of history's prophets of doom. The most famous of these mystics is the 16th century French writer Michel Nostradamus. He made over 1,000 prophecies before his death in 1566. Nostradamus writes that the head of the church will be taken prisoner and his palace will go up in flames. Scholars have interpreted this to mean the dissolution of the Catholic Church. But Nostradamus was not the first seer to predict the end of the Pope and the Catholic Church. 400 years earlier, a little-known Irish priest named Malachi had an eerily similar vision. The end of the church would mean the end of the world, and the end of the world would come soon after the year 2000. It's a dire prediction and a date within our lifetime that has been embraced by modern-day mystics. The doomsday clock will run out on a very specific date.
I predict the most novel event in the history of the world in 2012. And for a conservative mind, that might look like doomsday, but it isn't doomsday. It's simply that we are moving deeper and deeper into uncharted